Well, here we sit. I don't normally go live when I'm solo. I normally do more of a recorded show and post it up afterwards. But I don't know if anybody is going to be joining me from our podcast crew. Um, but if not, here I am, ready to rock and roll. Talk about the Cincinnati Bengals, the end of the season, and all the other disappointing things we got going on. So it's going to be short and sweet, but we'll get into it right now. Welcome back. We are running through the jungle. When I say we, I mean it in the sense of the chat fam over here. My guy Tim Lyons working overtime. Appreciate you, my man. Always hustling. I know. Austin's Art over here in the chat as well. And we're gonna get to it real quick. I'm Brandon Herriott. We're gonna get to this reactions right now from the Browns game. Browns lost and the players' reaction to it as well, which I thought was actually more fascinating than the game. A lot of us, we've seen the crash out on social media. We've heard Bengals fans, losing that last game to the Browns kind of put a real bad taste at the end of the season. I, on the other hand, wasn't one of those people. I've been saying for a while that these are the games that the Bengals win when they're inconsequential. They win 4 or 5 games going out when they're out of playoff contention, and then all of a sudden they fall down to the 15th, 17th, 19th pick, whatever it may be. So this one, well, we got a top 10 draft choice now. We're going to be picking at number 9. I'm not terribly upset about that. We'll get into that obviously more against when we start breaking down draft choices, who we think we're going to get, predictions, all that kind of stuff as the off season goes on. But for right now, I think that's going to be in a spot where traditionally you can get the top, possibly tackle, possibly safety, possibly guard, possibly. There's things you can do in there where you can actually get maybe the top defensive tackle. You might be able to get, the second best edge rusher in the game. So there's some things there. I think it gives us more flexibility. The best tight end may fall in that area. So there's some things that we can do here. What we got here? KP from KC said the Bengals are ginger and the fans are Stan Ross. Okay. Yeah. It is what it is, man. It's hard. It's really hard. Sometimes, we get kind of caught up as Bengals fans with, every year it seems like something off the field issue and or some sort of front office thing that's just not complete. It's rough. It's rough. The front office keeps doing the same old things, expecting different results. Definition of insanity. So yeah, that's it. As far as this Browns game, I didn't have much stock in it. So the game wasn't really what I was focused on. I was focused on more of the reaction from the players. And, they've talked about wanting change, needing change. I think my favorite one was Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase when asked if he trusted the coaching staff. He said he trusted himself to get open on the plays they call for him. That's not really a ringing endorsement for the coaching staff. So it is what it is. Yeah, I think we all feel this way. I hate to love this team, man. From KP, Tim Lyons, I feel like an abused husband with this team. Yeah, and yeah, Austin's art. Jamar Chase had it on the dot with his comment. I really think he did. But those were the things I took away from it, more so than anything. Dalton Reisner talking about wanting to be a Bengal, but that's out of his hands now, right? To me, it's something I've seen a lot of this in Bengals chatter, Bengals talk, where that seems like a no-brainer. So we'll see how that comes to fruition and whatnot. But yeah, my take is very little take. Don't care. In a game where the defense doesn't give up a touchdown, the offense does, and we lose the game. It is what it is. Not much of a reaction. So we had the player reaction statements. Mike Brown had an interesting statement, and here's this subject for you. I said, Mike Brown says Zach and Duke are the right leadership for the Bengals' future. What says you? Any of you that's been listening to this podcast, first of all, thank you. Any of you that are new here to listening to this podcast, wherever you get your podcast or on YouTube as well, please hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. But any of you that have been listening to this know that I've been pretty critical of Zach Taylor for, I would say, going on to better 3 years now. Duke Tobin, excuse me. I don't think there's, I don't think Duke Tobin's bad at his job. I think he's ill-equipped to do his job correctly. I think there needs to be more support there. There needs to be more scouting and office executives that help in that process. I think it has to be a team. When you and I've said it till I'm blue in the face on this podcast, when you're going against the likes of Roseman and the Eagles, and they have 14 full-time scouts and you have 2, obvious disadvantage. You know what I mean? Like, that needs to be just remedied immediately. And these guys keep talking about changes and what they want to see. And a lot of people have alluded to a defensive talent and getting proven players and not relying so much on a draft. You can't rely on a draft if you don't have enough resources going in to get the draft correct. There are a lot of rookies every year that make impacts. Schlesinger at Cleveland is a perfect prime example. He gets drafted by the Cleveland Browns and he leads the league in tackles. Like, there are guys out there making splashes for their team. So to me, it's just as simple. It's just as simple as getting enough resources into making sure those draft choices and those drafts are solid, are good, because they're just right now they're not hitting the mark. They're just not. So like I said, this is going to be a short show. I appreciate you guys riding with us, but I do need to step out for a quick second here and take a quick commercial break, hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back after these messages. And you are back with Runnin Thru the Jungle, talking about Cincinnati Bengals. Disappointing loss to the Cleveland Browns. Disappointing season. And right now, I would say off to a disappointing start to the offseason. But I don't want to just talk about that. We have we want to do a little playoff preview. Um, I wanted to get a little bit more in depth with this, breaking it down with Justin. Unfortunately, he's unable to make the show this evening, so I'm going to go on here and we're gonna go quickly and break this down, because if you listen to Pay Dirt, you got most of my thoughts on these games, but I do want to kind of go through maybe a little bit of kind of a power ranking. We'll talk about that a little bit of kind of an overview here, but to give you a little bit of an NFL player preview. The NFC right now, I believe, is poised to make this run to the Super Bowl pretty powerfully. They've got four, I would say four teams, maybe even five, that I would not be surprised if they make a good run. The AFC is kind of wide open. You know, the Patriots to me have been a little bit fraudulent because they haven't played a lot of good teams, right? I want to see them play more good teams. The Texans sometimes fall asleep on offense. They've had that happen. The Steelers, again, up and down season, and in true Tomlin Steelers fashion, a lot of their wins are just finding a way to win the game, right? They pull them out, like pull a rabbit out of the hat sometimes. 49ers have looked pretty good, but they look good when their offense is playing dominantly. Last week, I think the Seahawks really shut them down, and now they play the Eagles, not the greatest matchup for them either. So I like the Rams, and I like the Seahawks. I think the best out of the NFC. The AFC, I think I like the Patriots, and I like the Jaguars best. I would say I like the Patriots and the winner of the Jaguars Bills if the Jaguars don't win that. But that's where we're at. We start off the games on Saturday at 4:30. The Rams at the Panthers. Here's the thing: I like the Rams, but the Rams also went to Carolina earlier this year, threw 2 interceptions with Matt Stafford, and lost. Would I be shocked if the Panthers pull off the upset? I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked because they did it before. But I think this is one of those games. I think the run game is going to play here, play into this really well. Tim Lyons pointed out earlier on Pay Dirt this evening that it's supposed to rain in Carolina again. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, now a few weeks removed from the ankle sprain. I think you'll see those guys really be the bell cows for the Rams, and I expect them to be a run-first offense in that game. Packers at Bears, this should be a fun one. I give the nod to the Bears just because the Packers are so dinged up. But, this is a divisional game basically played in Chicago. It could go either way. The Bills and Jaguars on Sunday at 1 o'clock. I mean, that's a good way to start off Sunday. You never know what you're going to get from the Bills this year. They might score 45. They might score 13. So I'll be tuned into this one. We'll find out if the Jaguars are for real. In this one, they beat some good teams. And then the 49ers and Eagles. Can the Eagles offense show up? If they do, I think they win this one pretty handily. The 49ers, I think Trent Williams will be back, but who knows how he's doing, the left tackle for the 49ers, dealing with a hamstring injury. The Chargers, again, banged up bad. Offensive line is very porous because of that. So the Patriots are good here. Texans, Steelers, not surprised which way this one would go. I do think the Texans have a little more going for them. I think Stingley Jr. Matches up well against DK Metcalf, and at that point, the only other, really, the Steelers will rely heavily on their running backs then, and I think that the Texans kind of have the best defense in the league. So I think they'll be able to limit them and pull off that win. So it's an interesting I don't have a clear-cut favorite. I mean, I'd say the clear-cut favorite, like, if you look on paper, right, you'd say probably Seattle Seahawks, right? Best record, number 1 seed. They beat all these good teams. But at the end of the day, you kind of start thinking, do I believe in Sam Darnold? Do I believe in Sam Darnold to win the trophy? And to me, I don't. I think this is a prime year for Matt Stafford to solidify his legacy, um, possibly win an MVP, win a Super Bowl, and then there's no more questions of whether he's in or not in the Hall of Fame. So that's where I'm leaning this year is to the Rams. But I think everybody's got some some holes, whether it's offensively or defensively, and I think everybody's can be exposed to certain things. So it's going to be a really good. This is going to be a really good playoff for me. I'm really looking forward to it for sure. The last thing I wanted to cover here, real quick, before I get out of here, keep this nice short 20-minute show here, and I'm interested to see what you guys have here in a live chat. Talk about New Year's resolutions for a member of our Cincinnati Bengals team and or organization. I thought about this, man. Like we do New Year's resolutions personally. I do some for work, and I was like, if I was going to do one for a Cincinnati Bengal member, who would I do it for? Who would I do it for? I think mine would probably go ownership. I don't know if that's Katie Blackburn or Mike Brown or who, but I'd say New Year's resolution. I always talked about, when I was a business owner, I talked to my managers about what their job was as management. There's leadership is separate from management. Management really easily to me was giving the employees the correct tools they need to do their job. To me, the glaring thing that's not happening here with the Cincinnati Bengals, and I said it earlier, and I'll say it again, it's all blue in the face, is the correct support when it comes to player development and player drafting and scouting. Those things I think we need to take a deeper dive into. We saw a little bit more development this year. We saw the Miles Murphy breakthrough. We saw Cedric Johnson play well. We saw our corners playing better. We saw some things there. And a lot of it to me was just simply Al Golden didn't seem to have the reluctancy to play some of the younger guys. Still played Geno Stone the whole year. I probably would have seen what I had at safety once we were out of the playoffs. I probably would have given some of the youngsters more snaps there. But that's to me, I would go ownership. I would probably go ownership. If I wanted to give you another one and do a player, man, I would probably say Joe Burrow. I would say Joe Burrow. I'd like him to have more positive energy. I know it's been tough. I know it's been beaten down, and I even said on I don't know 4 weeks ago on this show that I think he did a lot of what he was saying and what he was doing as kind of a calculated way to get management and ownership's attention of how unhappy he was and that change had to come. That I'm good with. But I think there's a little bit better way to handle it. Let's be a little more positive energy with the team and everything. Wipe the slate clean. This was a terrible season. Nothing went as planned. They come back with a little bit more positive energy. That's what I would do. All right, Tim Lyons here. He has a New Year's resolution for the Bengals. He said his would be Al Golden, finding that guy or guys to make us an average defense, middle of the pack defense. I agree. And I also say probably shares that responsibility with Duke and some of what I'm saying as far as we need to look into better scouting programs. Austin's art here, he says, mine would be to having this team do all the things right in offseason, such as drafting properly, getting the right players in free agency, etc. Easier said than done. I would settle for a majority of them correct. I would settle for stop drafting projects that people talk about at the combine and when they're breaking down their tape as projects, as raw skill talent and measurables that are projects. We don't have time for projects. When you spend over $100 million on 3 guys on offense, those guys have to hit on defense that you're drafting. You don't have time to coach them up and let them develop. They have to develop in 6 weeks, not 2 seasons. So we also have Austin's art here saying signing all the players we need to get signed and make sure that we the most well-equipped offense, and especially Joe Burrow, and the best defense for this team. I say offensive line specifically there. Oh, yeah. Tim, stop drafting athletics. Yeah, they're really into measurables. I'm into like tackles, sacks, stuff like that. The team, that would be another thing, is to get the team tackling better. This team did not tackle well. So we'll see. Austin Zart, draft someone that's good enough to be balling out in the NFL. That's the hope for next year. Yeah. Plug and play players, man. Plug and play players. We don't have time for this. Tim Lyons, I would support drafting Caleb Downs. If he's there at number 9, I would run to the podium. I'm good with linebacker, edge, safety, whatever. If there's somebody in those 3 positions, I maybe even go, if it's somebody that's just a beast, I'd go D-tackle, I'd go whatever. I mean, if Ruben Bain somehow fell to us at 9, I would love that. I think he's going to have to get a reckless driving between now and then to drop, because I think he's a top 5 player. But yeah, I would love to see any of those guys that are splash players. Whoever that number 1 guy is on your board at number 9, it's a splash, instant plug starter at any of those defensive positions where we've been lacking at. Go for it. Absolutely go for it. Yeah, Austin's art wants Sonny Styles or Jim Rolder for linebacker. Not too shabby. Still, Ruben Bain or Caleb Downs would be my choice if you let me have my druthers, but we'll see if we have what we have. So, all right. Well, hey, guys, I appreciate you guys rocking with us. Even though it's a skeleton crew, just myself here, wanted to get on here, jump on, talk about the Bengals, some of the things that we've talked about. And listen, the guys have been talking about it in the live chat with me. And we've been picking each other's brains. So a lot of this stuff is a collab of the Running Through the Jungle team. So we appreciate you guys. Next week, we're a little touch and go right now. Hopefully we have something on here. It may be a short again. Something is better than nothing, but I will actually not be available due to some work conflicts over the next couple of weeks. Tim is also have some work conflicts over the next probably month. So we're going to be a little touch and go as far as who's on here and who's not. But we're going to try and get some things lined up for you. So you should be able to check us out next week here on Running Through the Jungle.